Yeah. Josh does fantasy. You know what it is. Sunday coming quick, set your lineup right. Josh got the plays, got the insight tonight. From the draft to the trades, he's ahead of the call. Breaking down the game, yeah, he's schooling us all. Josh does fantasy football, that's the vibe. Grab your notes, tune in, it's a winning ride. Stats and laughs every week on tap. Josh got the heat, let's run it back. Josh does fantasy. Yeah, Josh does fantasy football.
Welcome in, everybody. Hope you liked my new theme song there. Brought to you by AISongGenerator.ai. They use AI twice. A little redundant, but that's okay. Get into today's episode, which is our Week 4 breakdown. Going to see what we have in store this week. Going to start off with any kind of transactions throughout the week. I think there's only really one that happened today, actually. Let me go back and make sure. Yeah, nothing's happened too much. Start the Dynasty League, look at the waiver wire. You can see Bryce pulled a Bryce and did throw all of his fab on one player, Trey Tucker. He had one good week, and then he's back down to 3 points this week against Chicago, which is probably a decent matchup. It should be at least. But tell you what, he dropped his fab, so you don't have to worry about him trying to pick up any more players this year. He dropped Luke Musgrave, perfectly fine. Tucker Kraft's the guy to own there, so understand that. Chris Rodriguez picked up for 17 fab there from Brent. 5.9 points. That's a tough one. The Patriots, Kelly picked up, got 11 points. I don't know if he played him this week or not, but he did pick him up. Spencer Schrader from Drew there got 10 points. It's like he is actually the number one kicker so far this year. So that may not be a bad pickup, Drew. Maybe that kicker will carry you a bit. I didn't realize he was the number one kicker, so that's pretty good. He's 39 overall as well, which is pretty nice. I picked up the Chargers. They got me 9 points there. Don't know if I played them or not. I think I did. I dropped the Cardinals, which got 5 points, so not a big deal. And then Rance there got Harrison Butker on his team. Kicker number 8 for the year, looks like. Got 12 points, not bad for a kicker. And dropped Mr. Daniel Carlson, which has not been doing good this year. Let's see anything else throughout the week there. Don't know why Brent dropped Parker Romo. 18, -2, 10. It's a little bit of a roller coaster there. So, let's see here. We got Devin Singletary there. Brent picked up. Didn't do too much with what he had there. Bryce had picked up Rashard Smith. He got some attempts this week, but still nothing to write home about. He dropped Marvin Mims, and I probably should have picked him up. I'm sure someone else will scoop him up. But he had 17 points this week. So that's something to definitely keep an eye out for. He's got 4 targets, 2 targets, 4 targets, which isn't the greatest, but he had 6 targets last night against Cincinnati. Probably a good matchup. Does go against Philadelphia and the Jets next. 2 pretty decent defenses. And then Giants, Dallas, Houston. Pretty good matchups for him there. So we'll see what happens. Bryce also picked up Dylan Sampson. Probably not going to be playing much unless Quinshawn gets hurt. So dropped Tank Bigsby, which didn't play any at all. Let's see here. Anything else that we can talk about here? Seegers did pick up Haskins. Didn't do anything there. And Tyquan Thornton, which Did okay at 7.6 points. I mean, WR3 range. He's actually a number 25 receiver, so right at that WR3. And then I won't read the report to you. You're welcome to read that yourself. And this week we had a trade here with Pearl and Jody, the Gary Force brothers there. Pearl, we got Keenan Allen, Bryce Young, and a third for 2026 pick. And he sent Zay Flowers and a first to Jody. So, definitely think that favors Jody in this instance. Keenan Allen's old. It's probably his last year, so there's not going to be much value there. I don't know if he'll play next year. I don't think he will. He might. You never know. And then Bryce Young is not good. He's not been good this year at all. So I don't think that he is going to be the future there. I don't know how long they're going to give him. I guess they'll give him this year and see what happens. But I got a feeling if they don't turn around soon, he's going to be not on an NFL team. He'd be a backup somewhere maybe. And a third-round pick, which is a big dart throw. So yeah, Zay Flowers, and the first is definitely the side I like here. Young, talented receiver. He's ascending. I think his value is only going to go up. And then the 2026 first-round pick, those first-round picks are a premium. I think that it is... I think even if you only did the first, I still would... If you took out Zay Flowers in this, I still think that Jody wins this trade. It's just in my opinion there. The draft picks are so valuable. But that's my thoughts on that there. Let's dive into the matchups here for the Dynasty League. Starting myself and Kelly. Kelly ran into some injuries this week, unfortunately for him. And my players did not get injured except for Malik Neighbors. And that's going to hurt for the rest of the year. I don't know what I'm going to do. I have some players on my bench, though, that I can plug in. Marvin Harrison, Hollywood Brown. Likely will be back hopefully soon. So I think he could also be a flex option potentially. Woody Marks is ascending. He had 25 points this week. Bill is still kind of a week-to-week play. He could pop off at any time. I think he's just figuring things out still, but still splitting a lot of the snaps there. You can see still not getting a high percentage of snaps. So until he starts getting those high percentages, I don't think I can play him. He may have a week where he does 14 or 15 points, but he's just going to have the right matchup and be in at the right time. So I'm not sure if I can play him. And I just losing Neighbors is going to hurt a lot. So I think a lot of us are starting to feel the injuries this year. I think almost every team has got some kind of major injury. So yeah, that's just going to go around. This week, Kelly lost Lamar for I think 2 to 3 weeks maybe. I think he's not going to play in week 5. So whoever has him in week 5, whoever plays Kelly then, which we'll highlight here in a moment, is going to have a much easier time without Lamar there. But Kelly does have Herbert, which is always a person that can put up some points. And not as much Trevor Lawrence this year so far, but Herbert's had a couple of good games. He had 27 points there, and then 3 kind of very mid games. He's still QB9 though, so we'll see what happens there. So, yeah, I mean, our teams did well. He had Romeo Dobbs, which is a person that had 3 touchdowns, 26 points in a game. Was a lot. It's probably all the points he's going to get the remainder of the year. No, I'm just kidding. He'll probably get other points, but he definitely made up for A.J. Brown, getting 1.7 points. So the thing with A.J. Brown is he had 2 receptions for 7 yards, right? But he had 9 targets. I don't know how many of those are catchable. I have no idea. But he is probably pretty frustrated being there right now. But he's at 8 targets, 10 targets, 9 targets. So I think he has better days ahead, but being a run first offense is going to be tough. But even with it being a more run first offense, I got Saquon, and he only had 19 attempts, which is decent, but still, he only got me 15.4 points. When I traded for Saquon, I thought I was going to get a bit more than that, but that's okay. So sorry, Kelly, for winning this week against you. Next, we'll look at Pirtle and Seegers. Pirtle almost had the highest score this week. There's one other person that scored higher. But he put up a show this week. He had Mahomes showing out, McCaffrey, Genty finally showing up. So anyone that wanted to buy Genty low, his time's over on that. So I don't think Pirtle's going to let go of Genty. Who he is going to put on his bench the remainder of the year is Tyreek Hill. He's going to be out, unfortunately. That was a gruesome injury. Devontae Adams had a decent game. Kelsey, Chase Brown, Zay Flowers, which he no longer has. So he's got Keenan Allen, so we'll see what happens. Maybe Keenan can put up Zay Flowers-ish numbers. Zay Flowers is 17. Let's see what Keenan's at. If I can type Keenan, I'm going to do Allen maybe. There it is, Keenan Allen. Let's see here. He's at 13. So, yeah, I can see that for this year. The thing for Pirtle, though, is I think generally him having an older team, he's going to be rebuilding. So he wants those younger players, like age 25 versus age 33. So it's pretty old coming from a person that's 34. It's ancient. But yeah, so it's 8 years of youth that Pirtle lost out on that trade. So that's why I'm saying Jody definitely made out on that trade there. Seegers had a decent game. He had 127 points, which beats several people in the league. So he did have a decent game. Mark Andrews he had 7 catches for 30 yards. I don't know how that's possible. Those are very short targets. But yeah, he did that. He had Xavier Worthy coming back. It was featured in that game heavily. Good. Just overall, he had some decent performances, just not enough. So he did not play to his best this week. But his bench is looking good. He's got R.J. Harvey. Pacheco finally got a touchdown. I'm probably not counting that every week, though. Kyle Pitts finally got a touchdown. Again, maybe not counting every week, but we'll see with having the new quarterback if that makes a difference for him. And Pirtle on his bench, Golden had a decent game. He's in the green there, so compared to what they thought he was going to have, right? So he beat his projection, but not by much probably. So as we're getting to the bye weeks, it's going to be really hard for a lot of people to start filling in these flex spots and main spots. So we'll see what happens going forward. But Pirtle beat Seegers there pretty good. The closest game of the week was Isaac and Rance. Isaac winning by 5 points, a little less than 5 points there. So very close game. Isaac was carried by his running backs and Rance. But Garrett Wilson also put up a good week. But he would have Saquon. Really, it's only 2 more points what Saquon scored. And Devonta Smith only got 3 points. So really, it wouldn't have made much difference there, I don't think, on that. Let's see here. But yeah, Isaac he had a good game. His defense, 21 points. You know, if you get a defense that gets over 15 points or 20 points, it's pretty hard to overcome that sometimes. So, yeah, I think there's good days ahead for both teams here. Both now are 2-2. You know, I think Rance has a good young team here. Bijan is Bijan thinks he's, I think, RB 4 now. Yeah, so he's boost himself up there. Now he does have a bye week next week, so whoever plays Rance next week is going to get a little bit of a break off of Bijan. That's good. Jordan Love finally got a decent score. Well, he had 15, 20, 11, and then 25. Getting that 25 is definitely going to help him. He's now in the QB1 range. And then Scatterbo, I think, is going to be ascending here, especially with Dart coming in and Malik Neighbors going down. I think they're going to have to lean on the run game a bit more. So, like, Scatterbo is going to be a great back going forward. Matchup dependent and things like that. Jackson Dart does run, so if he's playing, then he might vulture some, just like any other rushing QB. Trey McBride this year he's been kind of like Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers hasn't really delivered either. I think Bowers was supposed to be the guy, and he's only tight end 11 sitting on my team. I'll tell you what. And then Trey McBride's only tight end 6, so it's just crazy to see how the scores are shaken out based on what you would have thought preseason. But we're in week 4, so some of the data is something we can start using now. Let's see on the benches here. Both of y'all have decent quarterbacks through back up there. Rance also has Keandre Miller, which I think is starting. His snap percentage is going up each week, which is good. His attempts are going up each week, which is good. And everything else. So he's trending in a positive way. And he gets the Giants coming up next week. I think that would be a good matchup for him. And then New England's an okay matchup, I think. Not the best, but not the worst, kind of middle of the road there. And then Chicago, which I think has a decent defense. So we'll see what happens there. They have a good run defense, I should say. I think their pass defense is not as good right now. Let's see here on the bench. Yeah, Dallas got it there. So I don't know if you can play him, but he is there, and that's a good person to have for backup tight end. I think he's jumped up to tight end 10 basically with that one game. So we'll see what happens going forward there. Not much else to talk about, I don't think, on this one here. So good job, Isaac. And then looking at Jody and Brent, our lowest scoring overall games this week. So Brent did lose. He does have some hope with Jackson Dart there, which is good. Wan'Dale Robinson also, Neighbors going down. He's going to be the top guy, I think. I think he's going to be listed as their next person up. Yeah, Wan'Dale, they already updated that there. So he's their WR1. So we'll see. We'll see if that pays off. You got Tucker Kraft, which is a great tight end. He's tight end 4 this year. Sean Rodriguez is kind of like what I was saying earlier with Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt or Bill. He's just, they're splitting that backfield so much. It's going to be hard to see things happening on either one of them until someone gets hurt. Hope no one gets hurt, but that's the only time we're going to see any kind of value, I think. You got Pittman there, did okay. Breece Hall on the other side of that. Anything on the bench to talk about? Shakir, he did great. And then Darren Waller also did great. So you got some good pieces there, Brent. If you can get them to all play at the same time together, you may be able to make it to playoffs. You're 0-4 right now. Don't give up hope. But yeah. And Jody is hurting pretty bad with Chase without having Burrow there. So that's good for us. Maybe that will keep his scores down. 108 is not what you'd expect from a super team like Jody's. So hopefully that will keep those scores down. He's got Sam Darnold as QB. Who's he got? He's got Stafford on his bench and Bryce Young. I guess you never know who's going to be the person, but maybe going forward he'll play Stafford. Seems like he's the better one out of those 3 right now. He's a QB 12, and I can understand playing the matchup against Arizona, though. But he's QB 21. Yeah. So Jody probably play Stafford going forward, I would say. Yeah. Overall, though, I think Jody's going to be in trouble with his bench. T. Higgins is kind of the same boat as Jamar Chase. Jameson Williams has not produced as well this year without Ben Johnson being there. I think that hurts him a lot because he's wide receiver 38. He had a good week 2, but other than that, he's kind of just been in the background. And then Ridley's not done anything. Eckler's going to be out for the remainder of his life. So you probably can drop him, Jody, if you wanted to. I don't think he's coming back. If he does, it's not going to be anywhere near the same capacity. So you probably could drop him if you wanted to. But yeah, Jody did beat Brent this week. So Brent falls to 0-4. He's going to be trying to get first place in the, or not first place, last place. So he can get the first overall pick in the rookie draft. So maybe that will be a good point, assuming he has his first round pick still. Hope he does for his sake. That's going to be probably the most valuable thing on his team is going to be that first round pick. And hopefully he keeps his first round picks for the remainder of the years for the next at least 3 years. And maybe he's trying to acquire other people's first round picks. Because if not, his team's going to keep falling behind, unfortunately. He's just, the trades that he's done hasn't paid off, as I talked about before. That's unfortunate, part of fantasy football. So we're really going to have to try to get some young talent on there. Take some shots with as many picks as you can get. So, trading away Shakir, Darren Waller, Pittman, Tucker Kraft, Pollard, Jackson Dart, any of those guys have enough value. You could probably trade and get some decent picks. So, and then the last matchup here features Bryce, which had our highest score this week, just a little bit over Pirtle. But yeah, Bryce put the beat down on Drew here, 50 points. Hopefully this doesn't continue for Bryce because he is looking unstoppable right now. His team is looking good. Bucky, I think, is going to be out this week, though. So that will give whoever's playing Bryce this week a little bit of a break. But he's got Hampton that's definitely going to be an RB1 this year. He's RB11. It's only going to get higher, I think, unless he doesn't get hurt. Down game from JSN even. So if JSN kind of played to his average, I think, which would have been around like 14 points. So it's only like 3 points difference. But still, I think it's a down week for him, especially playing Arizona. Should have been a good matchup. I know he was sick, though. He had the flu. And then Amon St. Brown did good. Drink London did good. Puka did good. Dunze did good. Bryce is just loaded with wide receivers, and he's got decent running backs. The only problem he's got is quarterback and tight end. He may not need them, though, if his other players can produce like they are. Even his kicker and defense didn't do like super great. So Bryce is going to be the one to beat this year, I think. So we'll see what happens. Now, Drew, you have some interesting things here going on. McConkey's not what he was last year. So I think with Keenan Allen being there, that hurt him a lot. So yeah, I think that is a tough one. And Quentin Johnston's rise also hurts. I think Kamara is going to start ceding some of his work to Keandre Miller. But you have a decent team actually, Drew. You got 2 good running backs, Jordan Mason, Javonte Williams. They're both the younger, right? Running backs. Well, Mason's 26, Javante's 25. Not as young as I thought, but you do have some younger ones. Pickens is going to be the guy. He's going to explode. I think he could, if CD stays out for an extended period of time, could definitely be a threat. And then you got Kenneth Gainwell, also age 26, but without Jalen Warren out, he really stepped up and he produced. No one would have thought that, so I don't blame you for not playing him. But yeah, you may play him next week. So you got some things going on, Drew. As I said previously, you really need to decide if you're going to start trying to rebuild, because you have some pieces here you could sell for some picks or some younger players, and potentially rebuild for next year or the year after, and really make a good run at a championship. So you got some people you can sell high on right now, and I think that would be a good decision in my opinion. But you do what you want to do. It's your team. All right. So looking at next week's matchups here. All right. So I get to play Drew this week. I'm gonna say I'm gonna win, just because I'm always gonna say that. Don't matter who I'm playing, but I'm gonna win. But I mean, Drew's team could certainly, any of them could produce and definitely pop off, and then mine may not. I mean, my team does have a history of not producing the way that that I want them to. So we'll see what happens there this week. But I'm gonna say I'm gonna win that one. Got Kelly and Seegers this week. Kelly is favored. He's already changed his lineup. Put Herbert in over Lamar. So that's already reflected there. Yeah, so overall, I mean, I think both sides have some big hitters, but yeah, I think I give that to Kelly just slightly on that. If for Seegers, if Hurts, ETN, Sutton, maybe Harvey, if they all can produce at a much higher level than what they're expected, double their scores, then I think that could put you in the running. But Kelly's got, Dave Montgomery's questionable. Let's see here. I haven't really seen anything on him yet, so he might be okay. Going up, he's got a good matchup this week against Cincinnati, so that's exciting. And then AHM, which always is going to be a threat against Carolina. Good matchup there. Judkins against Minnesota. Not the best matchup, but hey, he's there. Got Keon, AJ Brown, which has not done nothing, but maybe this is his week. We'll see. Kent Walker, Derrick Henry. Yeah, so I mean, just overall, Kelly's got more people that have the ability to put up bigger numbers. So I'm gonna go with Kelly. Pirtle and Isaac. This one I think will be a close game. It says 120 to 120 basically. So this is gonna be a tough one. I wonder why it says 59%. Oh, wait a second. Pirtle doesn't have changed Hill out. And he's also missing a flex. Interesting. Well, if Pirtle puts in his two players there, let's see, he's got on his bench, he can play this week Hopkins and Allen. Hopefully he plays Allen. He traded for him. So I'll probably play Allen, which is 10. Hopkins maybe it says 3, but you never know. Oh, I don't know if you want to play him with Lamar out. So Allen, and I guess you go Sam Laporta in your flex. That's probably what I would do. So I think Pirtle's going to win that then, probably, just based on adding those. Both of these teams are 2-2, so we'll see what happens going forward. But I'm gonna say Pirtle's gonna win this one. Just has the bigger, heavy hitters, I think, overall. So we'll see what happens. Isaac's team is no slouch, though. Could definitely be a challenge for Pirtle. All right, we got Brent and Bryce, the 0-4 team versus the 4-0 team. I think me and Bryce are the only 4-0 teams, actually. Is that true? Yes, we're only 4-0 teams. But, yeah. I'm going to give this one to Bryce. His team is just a juggernaut right now. It probably doesn't matter who he's playing against. He's actually missing 2 players here with London and Adunze. So that's good for Brent, but I don't know if that's going to make a difference. I don't know who Bryce can put. He put in Hubbard and I guess Brian Thomas Jr. and see what happens there. Brian Thomas Jr. has been a big question mark this year. He's wide receiver 44 compared to where he was last year. That's crazy. but it is what it is. Yeah, so yeah, sorry, Brett Bryce is probably gonna win that one. And then Rance and Jody, probably another close game potentially. Rance has been putting up some points. Rance has got a team that can certainly win, but still got. Let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. All right, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna say right now. Jody's gonna win that one. He's also got Zay Flowers that he could put in. That I think he would put in where his empty thing is there. Yeah. So, all right, my prediction there is Jody. Alrighty, and looking at the redraft here. Alrighty, so I don't think there's much action here. Yeah, I don't think there's much here. Let's see here. No, nothing really happening there. We had a little error there with Brent and Jody, so they swapped back. So let's look at our scores here. It was myself versus Callie this week, and let me tell you, this was close. I got so lucky that I was able to pull this one off. And I don't think either of us had anyone hurt. It's just how the cookie crumbled. That's why I like it. I like it whenever players can play. We both have fantastic games. I think I guess some other people had some 130, 140 games. But, but overall, though, we highest scoring slate, I believe, this week. So, yeah, we were the highest scoring. So, sorry, Kelly, that I had beat you in 2 leagues now. I improved myself to 3-1. Kelly falls to 2-2. So, overall, though, I don't think either of us made mistakes. There's things we could have done. I could play Pickens. You could play Harvey. I could have played Dak. So I could have easily had a 160 points or so, but didn't play my best lineup. So, all right, looking at Bryce and Rance. Rance beat Bryce this week, so Rance goes to 3-1. Bryce falls to 2-2. Let's see if there's anything here to call out. No, nothing to call out. Just Bryce's team there. Now Hurts performed okay. He's got Tyler Warren that performed really well. Probably the tight end one for the week, I would say. And you got Puka that obviously performed well. And then Kyron that did not. So that's the dangers of having two of the same offensive players. Typically you're not going to have a good week on both of them, but you are guaranteeing yourself to have hopefully a decent week out of the two of them, right? So if you add their scores up, it's about 36 points, 37 points. So divided by 2, you can say they both got, about 18 points. So not terrible. And nothing really to talk about on the bench there, I don't think. So yeah, just overall, Rance put it to Bryce this week there. Isaac got his first win this week against Jody. So congratulations, Isaac, on that. Scoring 140 points. It's also the highest score we had this week. So you had a bit of a spike week here. I can see why. You had Genty, Mahomes that popped off. Quentin Johnston popped off as well. So yeah, we'll see if that happens every week. That may just be a 1 week fluke, but you have the ability. I mean, all these players have the ability to do that every week that you have here. So hopefully that doesn't continue, and you slack off a little bit there. So we all have the opportunity to win, Isaac. Alrighty, and your bench all did well, I think, too. You had a decent bench there, which is good going into the bye weeks. You want to have a good, strong bench. Yeah, I don't think it would have mattered on too much. I mean, I guess Jody, if you happen to not have Lamar Jackson get hurt, which is not your fault, and then play Jordan Love, and then also Goddard in there, you would have fared a bit better. I think you may have won adding those up. See, 31, 20 points. That'd be 133 and 17. Each day putting your what was flex be 13. Yeah, so you'd have won there if that would have happened, but that'd be crazy to know what happens there before it happens. And then Brent and Seegers. Brent got his first win this week, defeating Seegers. Let's see here. Anything to call out here? Yeah. It would really hurt Seegers there, which it doesn't matter because Brent beat him by a lot. But having the Packers defense, which before was like the top defense, like almost the top defense, and then they had -6, which is crazy. But they really underperformed there. Maybe their defense isn't as good as people thought. So, but yeah, I had him in a league as well. So, Brent played Kenny Gainwell. That's crazy. That's why his score was so high. That and Bucky. Now, Brent maybe wasn't Bucky here for a couple weeks, as I mentioned earlier with Bryce on the Dynasty one. So, yeah. But you have Chuba there. Even Nick Chubb is okay, but I think Woody Marks is going to take over him. So, and then the last one would be Pirtle and Drew. Pirtle improves to 3-1 this week, beating Drew. That's our lowest scoring slate of the week there, it looks like. So, anything to talk about? Oh, Drew's got the neighbors card. Sorry, Drew. I feel your pain there with my Dynasty team. But he does have a decent team otherwise. He's still in the running there. It's hard to lose in your first round pick. And then A.J. Brown in your second round pick, I think, is also... actually, I guess A.J. Brown was not your second round pick. When did you get him? He was your third round pick. Okay. But yeah, because you got McCaffrey there as well. So Neighbors and McCaffrey is crazy when you're drafting. It's unfortunate that Neighbors got hurt, though. Yeah, overall, though, your team is capable of winning. Caleb Williams, what is he at? He's QB6. Okay, I can see why you played him. 37 points last week against Dallas. Yeah, so I understand why you played him there. So, you guys still play A.J. Brown. I mean, he's still a person you have to play. I'm in the same boat there with Jamar Chase on my team. So, just bad luck for you there this week, Drew. I think you got higher scores ahead. And Pearl, I think your team also is capable of doing higher. With Lamar Jackson being out, I think they're going to maybe lean on Derrick Henry a bit more. So hopefully that helps you out there. And then got Johnny T, which had a 70-yard run that was called back. So that'd be like 13 extra points that you would have had there, Pirtle. And then Debo is just doing Debo things there. Fannin, I thought he was going to be the guy after week 1, but it's turned out he's not as much. He's still got a high snap percentage, so 85. So that's what you're going to look for. So I think he's still a decent start. And you played Jalen Warren and still won. Oh my goodness! Are you just doing that to laugh and spit on Drew? I can beat you with one less player. You should probably trade out Jalen Warren. I guess you didn't know that they had that early game though. I think it happened to a lot of people. So I'm kind of glad that you won because I would have felt real bad if you lost because of that. So that solves that. Yeah. And then let's look at our looks next week and see what's going to happen here with the predictions. So we got myself and Drew. Yeah, Drew doesn't have neighbors. He's going to have either Fields. Yeah, Fields against Dallas. Or CJ Stroud against Baltimore. Baltimore's got a better defense. You're probably going to play Fields against Dallas, which I don't blame you. I think that is what I would do, Drew. So, and then you got Neighbors that you got to move down your IR. You have Rice coming back soon. He's not coming back this next week, but he's coming back week 7, I believe. So after game 6, unless they have their bye week in there. This is October 19th, week 7. Yeah, week 7. Okay, yeah. So when he gets back, it's been great. You got Tet as well. So I mean, you're still in this drew, even losing Neighbors there. You still have a deep enough bench that with quality players, you could still pull out a win this year. Now myself, yeah. Again, I'm always gonna say my team's gonna win, but really, I think Drew's team could certainly win as well because he's missing 2 players there. If he adds in Fields 21 and let's say Tet 12, that's 33. To his that we have him at 111, right? Or 109. I'm sorry, I thought that was 8. So should be a close game this week, Drew. But again, I'm always gonna say I'm gonna win. All right, and then Rance and Jody. Now Jody made a trade, and he undid the trade, so it's not put back in there yet. Yeah. So Jody's missing a quarterback and a running back there. He doesn't have Jackson or Love. Oh, wow. That is unfortunate because if I remember right, I forgot to look at this trade that we did. We did have a trade earlier in the week. Didn't we? Am I missing something? Yeah, there it is, right in front of me. All right, so Isaac got Mahomes and Stevenson and trade away Josh Jacobs, which now is going to hurt Jody a lot because Patrick Mahomes performed well. He lost Lamar for at least a couple weeks probably, and then Stevenson that's not any big deal, but if Travion Henderson goes down, Stevenson's going to be the guy there. So, we'll see what happens there. But, yeah, Jody's going to be in trouble this week. I don't know if there's any players on the waiver wire. Let's see here. Yeah, Gino. Gino could be the guy. Matthew Stafford against San Francisco. I'd probably go for Stafford out of these players, in my opinion. Gino may do something against Indiana, which has a decent defense, actually. He's 17 rank. Matthew Stafford's 12. So I think he'll go for Stafford, if I had to guess, which is who I would go for. So, I mean, overall, though, even if you add in Stafford, it's week 4. I meant week 5. I was like, that doesn't look right. Okay. Yeah, if you add in Stafford, and then, I guess Ray Davis? Unless you have no. Yeah. Yeah, Jody, you're good. You may be in trouble this week, unless you get some good waiver wire additions. I mean, you have some players: Jefferson, Wilson, Bowers, Godwin. Not as much company, more Montgomery, even that can certainly produce big numbers for you. So if they all can do that, you may be able to get away this week with a win. But yeah, I'm going to go with Rance here just because his team is healthy. And he's got Wandell on his team, so that's against New Orleans. So I think he's gonna do great this week. Alrighty, and then I got Isaac and Bryce. Let's see here. Yeah, luckily Bryce doesn't have bye weeks. When he gets bye weeks, though, whether it be with the Eagles, which have bye week on week 9, so whoever plays Bryce week 9 is going to be looking good, and then also the Rams, which happens to be week 8. So week 8 and week 9 are going to be weak points for Bryce. If you can somehow squeeze out wins those weeks, that'd be great for him. But it may be tough losing, 2 of your studs each week. So, But yeah, overall, I give it to Bryce, but Isaac could be the almost upset of the week. Shout out to Andy there. He's got the players to do it. So, alright, and then looking at Pirtle and Seegers. Pirtle is 3-1, Seegers 2-2. Let's see here. I think Green Bay is on a break this week. I don't know what defense you're going to play there, but there's probably a few defenses to grab. So if you grab a defense, it's going to be a pretty close game. But I think I do like Pirtle's team this week. And then looking at Brent and Kelly. Let's see what we got going on here. Now if Brent can get carried by Gibbs, he's not gonna have Bucky, so he's gonna have to put Hubbard up there. And who's gonna move in his flex? Diggs. I guess Diggs will go in his flex. And then Kelly. Yeah, I'm gonna say Kelly's going with this one. I think he's just got more star power. So sorry, Brent, but yeah, I think Kelly's got a little bit more star power there. Alrighty, so that does our recaps and projections. So let's look at our playoff calculator now for each league. So looking at the Dynasty League here. Let's see if anything's changed. Well, this is, I guess, somewhat interesting. I don't know why I think they made an update here. But I think it's still the same 6 teams. Yeah, I don't think that's changed. I need to make like a graph or something for that, but I don't know if I'll have the time. But yeah, so overall though, it looks like me and Bryce, Jody, all 99% to make playoffs now, and Pirtle's at 93. So I think us 4 are kind of, unless something crazy happens and we start losing a bunch of games, get a bunch of injuries, that could always happen. But we are projected to all make the playoffs with a high rate. And then Rance looks like is at 71%. I don't know why that is showing below Kelly. I guess because of the divisions, maybe. Yeah, I think it's the divisions. So Rance has a pretty decent rate. And then really, I think it's toss up between Kelly and Isaac there for that last spot. But Drew, Seegers, and Brent are all kind of maybe out of the hunt this year unless something crazy happens. Anything can still happen. But yeah. Oh, this has a little change thing here. So it's their team ratings. Okay. So green and then some reds. So I'm glad I'm in the green. Although I lost neighbors, so I don't know how that works. But okay. And then looking at redraft here. See what it says for us here. Alrighty. Alright, so on this one's a little more straightforward because we don't have the divisions. So me, Bryce, Rance, Kelly, Pirtle, and Seegers are kind of the top. Separate ourselves out pretty good at this point, and anything can happen. But me and Bryce are tied for 31% there. It looks like, yeah, that's pretty crazy. We'll see what happens. So maybe me and Bryce at the end kind of thing, but it also could be anyone else. So it's based on these numbers though. I do have a higher percent chance for first round bye though. Sorry, Bryce. We'll see what happens though. I don't know why that is. We're 10-4. Yeah, I guess maybe I have more points projected. I don't really know. You did go negative 13 this week in the team change. I went +5. Huh. I wonder what caused that. I I'd look into that stuff later. All right, well, that will conclude today's episode, which is our Week 4 recap. And hope you enjoyed the song there at the beginning. And hope that you enjoyed listening to me talk about our league for about an hour now, about 50 minutes. All right, we'll catch y'all next week. Thanks for listening.